Hey everyone. So today I'm just doing a video on the lesson that we're doing today, which is on Cambodia, which is a country in Southeast Asia. So it's located pretty much right next to Vietnam. So the flow of the lesson today is I'm just going to go over some important background information about Cambodia, um, its important communist leaders and what they did, and then I'm going to show you how to go through the video clips. There's 4 video clips. They're all pretty short, and there's some questions that you're going to answer connected to the video clips. All right, so here we go. So the learning target is I can identify Pol Pot in the Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge. Again, I'll go over that several times in this lesson, and describe the changes made and their effects through video clips, notes, and written response. So the big thing is looking at who Pol Pot is, who the Khmer Rouge are, they're communists, and what changes they made and their effects. All right, because to this day, there are still people who are traumatized by this event. So first, the Gmail says if domino theory, if Cambodia falls to communism, where else might fall? All right, so think back. This is connected to our Vietnam lesson. Think back to that image of dominoes falling in all the different countries, right? What will be the effect of that? So I'm just highlighting that. I'm just putting a comment there, and you could just put your answer on the side, right? So you could answer it as uh, other countries that might fall are blah blah blah. All right, I'll leave that comment there. So going straight into the lesson. First off, we got to know where Cambodia is. So again, it's located in Southeast Asia, has a tropical climate. Most of the people there are farmers, but in the 20th century, the 1900s, there is a large urban population. So before 1953, Cambodia was a part of the French Empire, much like Vietnam. The French pretty much treated the Cambodians the same way that they treated the Vietnamese. In other words, they treated them as second-class citizens and did not treat them well. Um, so what's going to happen is by 1953, the Cambodians are going to gain their independence. So just to give you a little more background knowledge, we're looking at the years between 1960 to 1975. And during that time, Vietnam is going to be involved in a war with the United States, which is going to kill a lot of people in Cambodia. You'll learn more about that next year in U.S. history. But importantly, what you need to know is who these people are, right? The Khmer Rouge. They are militant communists that take over Cambodia, led by this man named Pol Pot. I'll get into who he is in a moment. So basically, what they did is they emptied cities, forced people to work on collective farms. We've seen that before in other countries, China and Soviet Union. They got rid of money, abolished money, and they got rid of private property and religion. All right. So what's going to happen is through all these huge social changes, up to 2 million Cambodians are going to die, which is a huge part of their population because Cambodia is a small country. All right. So before the Vietnam War, Cambodia had a monarchy. And then what's going to happen is 1953, France is going to give Cambodia its independence, and they're gonna put in some forms of democracy. All right. So I'm just going to move pretty quickly. The rest of this information is just some more background information that you could read. Um, so this is the most important. This is one of the most important parts. Who is this guy, Pol Pot? All right, so he was a communist leader of Cambodia. He grew up wealthy and educated. He studied in France for a while, and while he was in France, he became a communist and he became radicalized, so meaning he met other people who were communists and socialists. What ends up happening to him is that he ends up losing his scholarship, so he comes back to Cambodia, and while in Cambodia, he joins the Communist Party there that already existed, and then he rises through the ranks and gets into power. So what ends up happening is that in 1963, again, this was background information, Pol Pot and the communists, they have to get out the cities because they're being hunted down, and they go into the mountains of Cambodia where they hide out. And while they're hiding out there, they meet indigenous people that live there. They're named the people there are called the Khmer. The Khmer people don't use money, and they all live in communities where they all help each other out. So Pol Pot was very impressed by this. So he's going to name the Communist Party the Khmer Rouge. Rouge just means red in French, and red is the international symbol of communism. All right. So what's going to happen is by 1975, he's going to become the leader of Cambodia. He's going to try to transform the country. Again, he's going to abolish money. He's going to get rid of private property, meaning that people can't own their own land. And everything belongs to the community. Everything belongs to the people. He's going to get rid of religion. He's very much against Catholicism, very much against Buddhism, and he's going to make people join rural collectives. And I'm just going to highlight this, right? And what a rural collectives is just collective farms, right? So people are forced to live, forced people are forced to live on farms and work together. Again, so it's really important that you understand that. So he's going to make people move out of the cities and move into move into the countryside to work on these farms to grow rice. So a lot of people resisted, and a lot of people didn't want to do that because it was against their will. So what Pol Pot did and his people did, the way that they responded was they killed lots of Cambodians, and they call this the killing fields, which I'll get into right now. So in the killing fields, right? So basically, what happened is that people who lived in the city, people who were cities, who were educated, who had wealth, they were forced to move into the countryside. What Pol Pot's goal was to triple the amount of rice that Cambodia was producing. So he forced people to work 12 hours a day with little rest or food. Many people are going to die that way. A lot of other people were killed for their political connections, whether they were accused of being against communism, against him, whether they were accused of supporting the king, so on and so forth. So what happened was that the communists in Cambodia, they would literally kill thousands of people and bury them in these fields. They're called the killing fields. So hundreds of thousands of Cambodians were killed this way. Families were ripped apart. Everybody from kids to elderly people were decimated at this point. All right, so just real quick, what happened is that in 1979, after Pol Pot, post Pol Pot just means after, Vietnam invades Cambodia because they share a big border, and the Cambodians and Vietnamese end up fighting. It's kind of interesting because they're both communists, but the Vietnamese were also horrified at what was going on in Cambodia, so they forced Pol Pot to flee, and he's going to survive for about another 10 years. And what's going to happen is that by 1989, the Vietnamese troops leave, um, and then we'll get into what goes on, well, what happened next. All right. So what you're going to do, make sure that you have this handout next to you. Right. It's called POV Enemies Handout. All right. So it's 4 different clips from PBS. All right, and they're very short. And I put the links to the videos to the clips right here. So each clip has questions that go with it. So for example, clip 1, the title is "That Belongs to Us," and the question is, why was Samba's father killed? All right, so you'll get the answer by watching the clip. And I made sure that it worked on my phone too, so you can open it up on your phone. With the phone, if you're gonna watch it on your phone, it's a little tricky getting to the links. You got to press on the link, and then there's a option to go to it. So make sure you click on it. So there's 4 clips. The second one is I want you to know the exact place. Again, there are questions that go along with this. And the third one is we had no choice. The fourth one is the individual I cast aside. So again, when you're watching these clips, make sure you are answering the questions in here. All right. And then lastly, what you're going to do is you're going to do a wrap up. And in the wrap up, there are 4 questions, and you're answering it. You're answering it right here, right in this space. And the 4 questions are this: Who was Pol Pot? What did he do? What changes did the Khmer Rouge make to Cambodia? How might hearing the truth from the perpetrators, the people that did the killing, help Cambodia heal from this tragic time period? So again, so this third question is really important. So those clips are from people who killed other people, right? Who are part of the Khmer Rouge. And so the question is really asking, how might hearing from them help to heal people? Because it wasn't that long ago. A lot of people are still alive today who went through this. And what is one suggestion you would give to help people forgive and heal? So again, You are answering those 4 questions. Please take your time with it, and all the information that you need is in the PowerPoint, and that is pretty much it. And I will talk to you all this week.